So, next up we got Do Eindhoven. Are you completely set up, technically?
Completely set up.
Great.
I'm happy to say.
Good luck.
Thank you. Dear members of the jury, we as Do Eindhoven would like to ask you a question. When I say the word recession, what do you think about? Take a second. I'm betting you're thinking about economy, money, or things like that, but there's actually a bigger problem which we have right now, and that's social recession. As you can see here, social recession is a problem in Eindhoven. Why is that? There are many social innovative initiatives in the city, and they do really great work for people who can't help themselves. These are usually run by volunteers. They don't have much time to invest, and so for them it's very difficult to find new volunteers and to exchange knowledge between them. The municipality of Eindhoven at the same time thinks it's very important to measure things like participation of its citizens, but it's very poor at doing so, because here you see the Social Monitor data set, or I think it's called Social Monitor, I would have to look that up, but you can see that the values for it are missing if you zoom in. Excuse me for the size of this picture, you'll have to trust me on it. What we want to do, as Do Eindhoven, is remedy this problem, and we're presenting you a concept which should achieve that. If we go to the next slide, then you can see here that we've looked at who are stakeholders for our initiative, so who do we want to bring together. And fortunately in our group we had someone who was organizing a festival, and our idea now is to take this festival as a use case and to connect in a playful way social innovators with citizens who might be interested in working with these groups. So we've looked at these interests that the various groups have, and we've found a way to bring these together. Next slide, please. Here you see our concept in the form of a storyboard. It reads from left to right. What we will have people do is, when they come to the festival, they will be met at the entrance by 2 or 3 people who will tell them that on the festival field there is a game going on where you can be matched with a social innovative initiative of your choice. It will be explained to them that this will be done by an app. We will have Wi-Fi on the ground so people can download this app, and this app will match through tags. In the second picture you can see an SQL database which we've built with sample data, where we have a bunch of initiatives in there with the tags, and we have tags that users put in. We've tested to see whether we can actually match users with the initiatives. It works, so that's a good thing. People choose from these tags when they enter the festival zone. They go to the center, there's an art piece there which is collaborated on by all of the social initiatives presented at this particular festival. It's held at Sexy Say, by the way. If you feel like attending, it's going to be in a small amount of time, which makes it a challenge for us to get the use case running. But we're confident that we can. In the center of this festival area, there is this art piece with a monitor in there, and that's where people can choose their tags. When they've chosen the tags, they will receive a photo of one person in this festival who is there as well, who they will have to then find. Imagine it as a Where's Wally, which is a conversation starter and which connects these people to the initiatives. At the end, the app shows the locations of the social initiatives within the terrain and can also be used later to connect to the initiatives. Next slide, please. So there's competition in Eindhoven. Other institutions are working on this, and I call it competition, but ideally we would all work together. And we think our app can complement what existing initiatives are doing in a couple of ways. For example, Meetup is now about meeting people for one time without the goal of having a commitment over time. We think we can orchestrate this commitment over time by engagement directly with the initiative. Eindhoven Doet has a great database of initiatives, but it doesn't have a geographical overview of where these initiatives are. So if you think about scaling this up from a festival to a neighborhood, for example, you could start working with a map of the neighborhood. Finally, Vrijwilligerspunt also brings people together, but has to work with a lot of different organizations. Again, a database and an overview would have added value. Next slide, please. So finally, we want to use Sexy Say as a festival, as a use case, to test this actually very simple idea. Then scale it up to a neighborhood in Eindhoven. When that goes well, we want to cover entirety of Eindhoven, and then we want to roll it out nationally. And then we could also develop new and other playful initiatives, such as neighborhood social innovation festivals, platforms for social hackathons which go at specific problems which the neighborhoods have, or we could organize tours past various initiatives, thereby giving them the spotlight. This was our story. We hope we can make Eindhoven do more like this. Thank you.
Very well presented. Thank you very much. Jury, any questions on this particular presentation?
Maybe. No, again, can you explain me a little bit about, I mean, I see a sort of Where's Wally concept, right, where you have to find someone, but then what's next? What will be the outcome of that? Is it just a conversation starter, or is there anything going on behind that? How do you make it, let's say, sustainable?
Thank you for a good question. One of the ways we've thought about making it sustainable is that people can also, when they enter and they get to this point with the video screen, they can also put in questions of their own to just start the dialogue from there. So they're not only just interacting with a group that's looking for something specific at that moment, but they're also interacting by, or there's the possibility to interact by asking questions. And we focused on dialogue because we feel it's important and because we feel it's very difficult for the initiatives to realize that right now because they have limited time and the volunteers don't go to many places being a volunteer, so they don't talk with people that often. So it's about engagement in that way, but I hope that answers the question.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question.
Can you tell me a bit more about the prototype you built? You mentioned a database, but can you be a bit more specific about what you did during the weekend?
Well, what we've started with is this idea that we wanted to match people with initiatives. We didn't know how, we knew we wanted to use the festival. So then we started discussing concepts, of course. And we figured out that the best way to do it is to first have the initiatives make a list of tags, which they feel that describes them, and provide their information. So before the festival starts, we want to get this information from each of the initiatives. In the neighborhoods, this would be gotten through neighborhood convention centers, for example, and key people who know people in these neighborhoods. From there, we started looking at which data do we need to link together to get a profile. And based on the time constraints, the profile right now is rudimentary. I mean, there's room for improvement there. But right now, we are able to match people with the tags that they selected from a tag cloud when they entered the festival. So we focused on the bare bones of that to be able to think about how to scale the concept up. But the next thing we would develop is a better idea of the functioning of the database within this concept. We do have the app is also, as proof of concept, it's ready. Only showing it now wouldn't add much because, well, it's not very pretty to look at yet. So hopefully in the future.
Thank you very much. Give him an applause.